What's up, everybody? It's Dustin with DF Leatherworks. Welcome back to the leather shop. As you can tell, we got a little bit of mess on our hands. So before we get started this week, let's pick up this shop. All right, guys, I'm gonna come on here real quick and interrupt the video and talk about a giveaway that we're doing. We are gonna give away a belt similar to this. You get to choose the color, you get to choose the stitching color. To enter, all you gotta do is comment where you're from, and that'll get you one entry to enter into the giveaway. Now, we're going to run this giveaway for 2 weeks. So that means on March 12th, 2026, we're gonna pick a winner for a belt similar to this one. Guys, make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell to get notified whenever we put a video out, because we'll do a video picking the winner for this belt. All right, guys, have a good one and enjoy the rest of the video. All right, y'all, we got the shop cleaned up. Remember, a clean shop is a happy shop. Our plan of attack this week is we're gonna finish up our branding bar items when we finally get thread. But until then, we have some Groomsmen Gifts to make. So if you haven't heard, Paige and I are getting married this year. So I have some Groomsmen Gifts to make. There's gonna be a dop kit as well as a pocket knife sheath. So we'll be over at the tooling bench a little bit. So y'all come along and let's get to work. So what we're gonna make our dop kits out of, we've got some black chap leather here. We get our chap leather from a few different distributors. We'll do a video on that on one day, but this here is specifically from Traditions Leathercraft. They're based out of Oklahoma City, so I buy all my leather online, and then they get shipped in to me here in Tennessee. So but we're going to make them out of this black. The pattern we are going to use is the pattern from Maker's Leather Supply. If you want to see a video on how they're built, go over to their channel. Aaron Heiser over there does a really good job on explaining how these things are made. So if you want a how-to, go over there. So like I said, the pattern we're going to use is from Maker's Leather Supply. They have this nice template here. So all we got to do is trace it out, and we'll be able to cut it out, and there will be our dop kit, and we just got to put it together. We're going to go through a little bit of leather for this. We're gonna fancy these up a little bit. We're gonna take some of this dark brown ostrich print. We're gonna put, this is gonna be the outside color. This black here is actually gonna be the inside now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay these out. Keep in mind of our holes here. We're gonna lay these out so we can get a good idea of how much leather we need. Then we're gonna go over to the glue table, glue these up, and we'll cut them back out. So I'll meet y'all over at the glue table, guys. We got them all cut down to size. And with that little bit of leather I had left of that roll, we just made it. But before we go to the glue table, we need to do one thing. We need to skive some of this down to thin it down for our later steps when we start folding everything together to make the actual dop kit. So y'all come on in here and see what I'm doing. We got some rock. We got our knife here. I prefer to do it with this chap leather instead of using the actual skiving knife. We're just gonna take down a little bit from this edge right here. We're gonna take a little bit of this down. Because when we start folding it, when it folds up together, when we start sewing in seams here, like so, when we got the zipper in, it'll make it to where, because we're gonna sew it inside out. So what that's gonna do is gonna help that right there, especially with this additional thickness, help it fold back out and give us a nice fold. So we're gonna do is take our knife, we're gonna press down just a little bit, and we're gonna start cutting some of that thickness out of that leather there. And what I like to do, I just like to take this head knife here and just rotate it down. So it cuts along the way. So, as y'all can see there, get that in a second. So I see there, here's our usual thickness, and we got it down quite a bit more here on the edge. We're gonna do it to all of these corners, because when we sew it all together, these two are gonna fold in like so. So we're gonna skive all of these edges down in the same way. All right, y'all, as y'all can see here, we got those edges skived down. We're gonna finish up the rest of those, then I'll meet you over at the glue table. All right, guys, what we're gonna do now, like I told you, we're gonna glue these two together. We've got a glue pot. We're gonna put a coat of glue here, and we're gonna stick them together. We're gonna do that with all 6 pieces. One good thing about being a leather worker, we get to sniff glue every day. All right, we're gonna let them tack up and we're gonna stick them together. So yeah, while we wait on the glue to tack up, this is what we do. Sasha knows she gets her pets during the glue time. So we're gonna sit here and hang out and get our pets in, and then we'll show y'all what's going on when we stick them together. All right, guys, looks like our glue tacked up. It's still a little wet, but we'll manage with that. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna lay it here on this ostrich. Make sure we have enough space here to get it all the way on. And set it down crooked. All right, take 2. Left too much space over there. Over again. And take 3. Nice rub down. Make sure that glue sticks nice. There we go. That's what the outside of our dock kit's gonna look like. Let's go ahead and go over to the cut table and we'll get this trimmed up. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get this trimmed up. All we're gonna do is we're gonna take our X-Acto knife, we're gonna grab our ruler here, and we're just gonna cut it to size. All right, guys, so there's the body for our dock kit. It's gonna be a little tight, but it'll be all right. I think it'll work out well. What we may need to do is actually scrap this thicker black and go with the thinner black over there. But we're gonna try it out with one, see how it goes, and we'll go on that. But guys, it is already getting late in the day. We gotta help Paige out with some cake delivery this evening. We've gotta travel down to Nashville for that. So, but all right, guys, I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, y'all, we're back in the shop today. Gonna hopefully finish up these dock kits. After thinking about it last night, we changed our plan up. We did a little work in this morning already, as y'all can see with all this scrap here. But our plan yesterday wasn't gonna work out. It was just way too thick. So what we did was we peeled off that one layer on that one. We didn't glue up the rest of them yet. We took some of this goat skin. It's real thin, real flexible. and we just glued it to the back of these and cut it out. So that's all we've done so far. What we're going to do next is we're going to edge and slick these edges. The actual pattern, let me show you real quick. The actual pattern shows for a strip of leather right here to attach the zipper. We're not going to do that with these. We're going to go with a little more simple look with them. We're just going to edge and slick these edges, and then we'll attach our zipper there in the middle. So all we got to do is get started, get these edged and slicked, and we'll move on to the next part. All right, there we go. We had edge slicked and dyed these edges on them. So what we need to do now is attach our zippers. I just use these zippers. I get them off Amazon. What we're going to do is we're going to put some tape down on the edge here. And we're going to stick it down to the edge of the zipper. And then we'll sew across that line there. So y'all come on in here and see what I'm talking about. All right, so like I said, excuse my mess over there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put some tape down because all we need it is to hold just long enough to sew it. So we're gonna take our double-sided tape. We're gonna run it across this long edge here on both sides. Be careful not to get it over the edge of the project because that'll show a little shiny stuff. We don't want to see that. This is just used to hold that zipper into place while we sew it. All right, we're gonna take our scratch off, remove one side of this tape for now. Take our zipper. And if y'all can see here on the zipper, there is a little line, there's little lines in the zipper. What I do is I pick one of them depending on how much distance I want between the leather and the zipper teeth. I pick one of those lines and that's where I stick it and just follow that line all the way down the zipper. So that is what it's gonna look like. We're just gonna sew along this edge here when we get over there. I'm gonna do the other side and I'll meet y'all over at the sewing machine. All right, we're at the sewing machine. We're gonna use the Cobra Class 26 because, well, it's the only sewing machine I have. So we're gonna re-thread this. We're gonna get the bobbin with the black thread in it and we'll get to sewing. We got the black thread in, we got the black bobbin in, the bobbin with the black thread in. We're just gonna sew down this line here. What we're gonna do, we're gonna start on this end with the zipper end. I'm gonna have to try to force this back there a little bit. It's not hard, we can get it back there. I'm gonna take my pressure foot, I'm gonna run this edge here with my pressure foot. Let's turn it on because that might help. Do a few stitches forward, then we'll do some back stitches. On this other end, on this side, do the exact same thing, except not to sew the bottom together already. Who's yelling? Sewn in. We're gonna trim down some of this excess thread we have going on here after I zipped it up into the zipper. Snip. Snip. And this one on the inside is a little on too. Snip. All right. Now what we're gonna do is we are going to remove some of these teeth here so we can sew so it doesn't break our needle on our sewing machine. I make special tools for this, but I don't have them. So we're going to use some needle nose pliers. And all we're going to do is we're going to grab a tooth here at the edge. We're going to pull it off. We're going to take about 4 of them out on each side. All right, there we go. What we're going to do next is we're going to open it all the way up. We're going to turn it inside out. Try not to stress our zipper too much so we don't pop any threads. There we go. So that back up some to make it easier to deal with. Now we got to build our accompaniment pieces. We are going to make some handles and pull tabs. So I like to make my handle at about 8 inches long, at 1 inch wide. So we're going to take this here. Hey, look, somewhat straight edge. Let's go and straighten this edge out, and then we'll make a handle. All right. Long handle piece. We're actually going to cut it down to 8 inches. Take our head knife so we can cut quicker. There we go, 8 inches. Now, our pull for the back, we're going to cut it at 4 inches. There we go. We're going to take this together. We're actually going to back both of these with some of this goat skin as well. Actually, this is pig skin. We're going to back it with pig skin. Y'all seen it? Y'all don't need to see it again. We're going to tape it, put it together, and then we'll run some stitches down each side. So when we get done with that, I'll see y'all back over here at the cut table. All right, we got our pull loop, and we have our handle. We're going to put them into this bag. So let's go ahead and tape down the handle's not done. Just thought about that. We got a slicking edge and die edges on that handle. But we'll do that in a second. What we'll do right now is we're going to put a piece of tape on that pull tab. Stick it together. And we're going to take, well, we should have removed teeth back here. Whoops, too late now. We're going to take back here, stick it together with this pull tab face on the inside. So when we turn it back out, it'll be facing right. Don't ask me how I know. I may have done that a few times where I had to break it apart. But we're going to tape all this in. We'll sew this pull tab in and this end closed. All right, we got it sewn up. We're careful not to hit any teeth with our needle. Cut this excess off from this zipper here. We don't need it anyhow. All right, now we're gonna put our handle in. First we're gonna do, because what's gonna happen is we're gonna sew this end down. We're gonna go over there and sew this end down as well. Then we'll put our handle in. But we want to open up our zipper first, because if not, it's a pain trying to get there. Trying to get to the zipper to open it. Don't ask me how I know. We've got our 2 ends sewn together. Take our scissors, cut this excess off because I don't want it here anyhow. There we go. Now, make it a cleaner product. We have a little bit of overhang over here. We're just going to trim up these corners just a hair. There's not much. Just use our scissors for that to make it quick. All right, there we go. Got them all trimmed up. Now, what we're going to do, this is our back, the end. Our front is here. We take this, We're gonna fold these together and get those edges lined up as well as we can. Really want this edge here flush there, and then we can get our sewing stand off on this side here. But what we do, we are going to take some binder clips, and we are going to just hold this together with the binder clips. Now, have our handle. Let's finish. Hang on, guys. Let me go finish these edges, and then we'll come back and we'll get this thing all together. Well, guys, I forgot to press record, but all we've done is we finished up the edges on that handle, and then all we did was binder clip it in on the inside there. So all we're gonna do now is we're gonna take we'll take it over to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew a line down each one of these corners. We get done, we'll come back over here, we'll turn this bad boy inside out so y'all can see what it looks like. All right, y'all, we're back. We got all 4 corners sewn together. Let's turn this bad boy out so we see what it looks like. All right. And there we have it. There's our ostrich print dop kit. Fit all of our hygienic needs in there with that black inside there. Oh, it's pretty sweet looking. But we ain't done with it yet, guys. We ain't done with it yet. What we're gonna do, we're gonna finish up on these other 2, and then we'll come back and see the final touches we put on these things. All right, y'all, as you can see, we finished up the other 2. We're gonna put a nice little touch on them. We're gonna brand their initials. All right, y'all, there we have it. We have their initials branded. Let's move on to the next gift. We're switching gears. Instead of a belt-worn pocket knife sheath, we are actually going to make a sleeve for the pocket knife. One of their gifts is a 2-blade trapper knife by Case. So we're going to make them a little sleeve to put that pocket knife in so they can carry it in their front pocket. So y'all come along. We're going to make it out of the same ostrich brown leather that their dop kits are made out of. So let's get started. We're going to use up some of our scrap from the dop kits. Fits nicely in there. We're gonna get these cut out and we'll be back. All right, y'all, we are gonna line these as well, just like we did the dop kits. So we're gonna slather some glue on these, get them stuck together with this black backing, and then we're going to get these things put together. All right, let's get it stuck down to this black. We're gonna take our scissors, we're gonna trim these out. Truthfully, I don't know if this pattern is gonna work. I've never made one of these. So we whipped that pattern up in about, I don't know, 10 minutes, probably less. So we'll see if it works. We got them all cut out. Now we're gonna tape, we're gonna go sew, and then we'll test fit. All right, guys, we got them all taped up, but before we put them together and sew, we need to address this edge right here because we won't be able to reach it when they're sewed. So let me go handle this, and I'll meet y'all over at the sewing machine. All right, y'all, well, I forgot to start recording while we were sewing, but all we did was we stitched a line around the perimeter so we can slide that knife in there. All we're going to do now is we're going to trim off this excess. We're going to go sand, slick, and dye the edges. And then these will be done and we'll be ready for a test fit. All right, guys, we got the pocket knife sleeves finished up. Time for a test fit to make sure that they're going to work. This is the exact same knife that I got them, that little case knife, 2-blade trapper. So let's see if it fits. It just slides on in there like it's supposed to. We're gonna put some of these up for the branding bar as well. We'll get some of them knocked out in different colors and patterns and things like that. So if you're looking for any good leather items, guys, head on over to dfleatherworks.com and get you some. But that's gonna do it for us today. I will see you when our thread comes in. All right, y'all, finally got our thread in, but we're not gonna get into it this video. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment. Next week, we'll finish up all of our branding bar items since we got our thread in. But guys, always remember, there's no matter where you're at or what you do, always leave your mark. See you guys next week.